Hello and welcome. Today I would like to talk about booting issues of many old mainboards and how to solve them using so-called XT-IDE. First, let's go back in time, about late 80s to mid 90s, and take a look on the common storage technology of the days. In the early ages of personal computing, floppy drives or tiny flash ROMs have been used to boot into the operation system. But in the late 80s, hard drives became affordable and were quickly adopted by the manufacturers of personal computers. In the beginning, there were different common and proprietary solutions, but in the end, so-called integrated drive electronics, short IDE, made the run and became a standard. This is an IDE drive from the year 1992. I think it has 40 MB of capacity, so really tiny from today's point of view, but back then it did cost a lot of money. Anyway, such an IDE drive was connected by a 40-pin ribbon cable to an IDE controller like this one. Most of the controllers didn't have much of logic and were inserted into an ISO slot on the mainboard. Later, more integrated mainboards came to the market where the IDE controller was located directly on the mainboard. The BIOS on the mainboard did all the heavy lifting and included the required bits, which told the whole system how to access the IDE drives through the controller. As I already told, most of the controllers were very basic. However, some had more advanced features which were not supported by the common mainboards, so they had an own BIOS like this one. We will come back later to it. For now, let's take only simple IDE controllers into account. The old hard drives were mechanical devices with small capacitors. The guaranteed working time was usually about 5 years, but meanwhile about 30 years passed. So most of them just don't work anymore. In all these years, more modern storage devices were developed. One very well known is compact flash, used in thousands of earlier digital cameras and small embedded computers. One interesting fact about such compact flash drive is that they implemented IDE standard and actually are better hard drives with higher capacity, higher speed, no mechanical parts and therefore much smaller. In theory, you can replace almost any IDE hard drive by such a compact flash card. You just need a compact flash to IDE adapter to be able to plug it into the IDE controller. Such adapters are, by the way, very cheap, since compact flash is already IDE device and the adapter has only to do the wiring and absolutely no logic. So we found a modern replacement for an old, good mechanical hard drive. But let's try to plug it into an old mainboard and see what happens. I have here one 286 mainboard with integrated IDE controller, which we can use to plug our compact flash card into. I entered BIOS settings and set up the hard drive settings. Our 512 MB compact flash card acts as 485 MB with 987 cylinders, 16 heads and 63 sectors. These numbers are enough to make a separate video about, but we shouldn't care about them now, since they are irrelevant for today's topic. Let's just remember that we configured one 485 MB hard drive. Now, the mainboard is configured properly and should actually boot from the compact flash card, as it would usually do from a normal hard drive. But we run into a read error while reading drive. These kind of errors are pretty common if trying to boot on such an old mainboard with something newer than a 30 years old hard drive. The errors are not always the same. Sometimes you get a read error, sometimes hard drive controller error, or just hanging boot sequence refusing to move on. Mostly, it is due to inability of the mainboard's BIOS to initialize the drive correctly. And here's where the project XT-IDE can usually help. Without going into detail for now, let's insert additional ISO card into the mainboard, which will provide XT-IDE ability to the system, and try to boot it then. The compact flash card is already partitioned and Microsoft DOS is pre-installed. As you can see, we have now slightly more output than before. There is a menu on top of the screen and down here something about XT-IDE and that our compact flash card was detected and it's booting into DOS. As you can see, it is now possible even if the original BIOS on the mainboard is not able to do this. So using XT-IDE, you can make it possible to boot modern storage devices on very old mainboards. But what is XT-IDE and how does that work? To answer this question, we have first to take a look at memory layout of the x86 machines. We are interested in memory below 1 MB. First, 640 KB is a memory available for applications. I will simplify it a little bit, but hope you will get the point. Above 640 KB, we have so-called upper memory area, which is divided in three 128 KB blocks. First block is video memory. Second is the area for the device ROMs, and the last one is for BIOS. Again, this is very much simplified, but we are interested in the middle block for the device ROMs. It starts from a hexadecimal address C4x0, means 768 KB, and goes up to the address E4x0, means 896 KB. This makes 128 KB, which can be divided in multiple chunks of 16 KB each. Every chunk can contain a device ROM, for example from your graphics card or network adapter or any other device like IDE controller. This ROM can contain the information how to initialize and access a given device, and this is where XT-IDE comes into play. The whole thing, simplified, it is just an additional device ROM which explains to the system how to access a modern storage device. XT-IDE has some more interesting features like storage auto-detection, which is not possible on many old mainboards, boot menu to select the device, and more. Now, where you know what XT-IDE is good for, next time I'll tell a little bit more about the project behind the software and explain step by step how you can use XT-IDE on your retro system. So far, I hope this was informative for you. Please leave your comments below and tell if you would like to see more videos like this one or not. Thank you very much and see you next time.